Let me ask you something. Have you ever wondered why some years feel powerful and full of progress, while others feel heavy, confusing, or unfinished? This episode matters because the new year is not shaped by luck. It is shaped by the questions you ask yourself and the choices you make with intention. When you stay until the end, you will not only learn English, you will also learn how to reflect, grow, and direct your life with clarity. Today we explore a simple but strategic reflection framework designed to help you understand the highs and lows of your past year, identify your deeper motivations, and prepare for a stronger year ahead. You will learn how to use reflection to avoid repeating old mistakes and build a year that feels meaningful. So take a slow breath, relax your shoulders, and let your mind open as we begin shaping the year you truly want to live. And if this lesson gave you something useful, I'd love it if you tapped like and subscribe to the channel. It helps you stay connected, and it also helps this little learning community grow. Every click really does make a difference. With love, let's dive in. Why do intentional questions matter so much for personal change? Intentional questions matter because they give your mind direction, especially when life feels messy or overwhelming. When you ask thoughtful questions, you slow down your thinking, connect to your deeper values, and make decisions that match the life you want. Without intentional questions, people enter a new year on autopilot, hoping for change but repeating the same habits. With intentional questions, you create space to reflect, understand your emotions, and guide your behavior with clarity. This helps you choose actions that support your well-being instead of distracting you. When you understand what drives you, what holds you back, and what gives you energy, you naturally make better decisions. This is why personal change starts with awareness, and awareness begins with questions. The more intentional you are with your reflections, the more powerful your growth becomes, and the more control you feel over your future. How can looking back at last year help shape the year ahead? Looking back helps you understand the story you lived, so you can consciously decide which parts to continue and which parts to change. Many people avoid reflection because they fear regret, but true reflection is not about blame. It is about noticing patterns, recognizing your progress, and learning from your challenges. When you gently examine last year's experiences, you start to understand what supported your growth and what created pressure or confusion. These insights help you build a clearer path for the next year. Without reflection, everything stays blurry and you often repeat the same mistakes. With reflection, you gain emotional clarity, stronger self-awareness, and a deeper understanding of what you truly want. This is why looking back is not a step backward. It is a step toward a more intentional future. When you reflect, you prepare your mind for change. What should you look for when reviewing your past year? When reviewing your year, pay special attention to your highs and lows because they reveal the truth about your inner world. High moments show you what brings joy, confidence, and purpose into your life. Low moments show you where you felt overwhelmed, disconnected, or tired. Instead of running away from these experiences, look at them with curiosity. Ask yourself what made the good moments feel good and what made the difficult ones feel heavy. These reflections reveal your emotional triggers, your personal values, and your most natural sources of motivation. They also help you recognize habits that helped you grow and habits that distracted you. When you study your highs and lows, you turn your year into a teacher. Every moment, even the uncomfortable ones, becomes a guide for the year ahead. This is how reflection creates wisdom and clarity. How do your motivations influence the choices you make? Your motivations influence everything you do, often without you realizing it. Sometimes your choices come from excitement, hope, or curiosity. Other times they come from fear, pressure, or the need to please others. When you understand what motivates you, you begin to understand why you behaved the way you did last year. This helps you choose differently in the future. If your actions were guided by fear, you can choose courage. If they were guided by pressure, you can choose balance. If they were guided by your true values, you can continue building on that strength. The goal is not to judge your motivations, but to understand them. Awareness gives you freedom. When you see why you acted a certain way, you can adjust your future actions with clarity. This is how your motivations become a powerful tool for personal growth. What is the stop part of the stop, start, continue method? The stop part is about identifying what no longer supports your well-being or goals. People often believe improvement comes from adding more tasks, more goals, and more pressure. But real growth usually starts with removing what drains your energy. Ask yourself what slowed you down last year. Maybe it was overthinking, comparing yourself to others, staying in relationships that hurt you, or wasting time on habits that add nothing to your life. Stopping these behaviors creates emotional space. It gives you more time, more energy, and more peace. When you remove distractions or harmful patterns, your life becomes lighter and more focused. Stopping is not giving up. It is choosing yourself. It is choosing clarity instead of chaos. And it is the first step toward a stronger and more intentional year. Why is the start part so important for growth? The start part introduces new habits, thoughts, and behaviors that support your emotional and personal growth. When you ask yourself what you want to start, think about the actions that will move you closer to the life you want. Maybe you want to start a healthier morning routine, start setting boundaries, or start speaking more kindly to yourself. Starting something new does not require perfection. It requires consistency. Small steps, repeated daily, build confidence and positive momentum. Starting is important because it helps you replace old patterns with healthier ones. It brings fresh energy into your life and reminds you that change is possible. Every small action signals to your mind that you are growing, learning, and moving forward. Starting is a choice to believe in your future. What does the continue part help you recognize? The continue part helps you notice the good things you are already doing. Many people focus so much on their mistakes that they ignore their progress. When you ask yourself what you should continue, you recognize the habits, relationships, and actions that made you stronger this year. Maybe you developed a small routine that helped your mental health, or you made healthier decisions in your relationships, or you started learning something new that expanded your confidence. These moments matter. Continuing what works gives you stability, motivation, and a sense of pride. It reminds you that you are not starting from zero. You already have things in your life that support your growth. Celebrating and continuing your strengths builds self-belief and creates a solid base for the year ahead. How does this method help you avoid repeating old mistakes? This method prevents repeated mistakes by bringing your habits and patterns into the light. When you clearly see what held you back, you can stop it with confidence. When you understand what you wish you had done differently, you can start a new behavior with purpose. When you recognize what made you feel stronger, you can continue it with pride. Everything becomes intentional instead of automatic. Mistakes become lessons instead of regrets. You learn to notice emotional triggers, unhealthy habits, and old behaviors before they control you. This awareness helps you protect your future from the past. The stop, start, continue method turns your reflections into action. It transforms your new year into a wiser version of your last one. How does self-awareness create personal and professional growth? Self-awareness is like a quiet inner light. It shows you your strengths, your patterns, and your needs. When you understand your emotions and behaviors, you stop reacting blindly and start responding with clarity. This improves both your personal life and your professional life. At work, self-awareness helps you communicate clearly, choose opportunities that match your values, and manage stress with calmness. In your personal life, it helps you build healthier relationships, set better boundaries, and make choices that support your peace. Self-awareness gives you control over your direction. It teaches you to understand yourself before making decisions. And when you understand yourself, you make choices that lead to growth. With self-awareness, you walk into the new year prepared, grounded, and emotionally strong. Why is writing your reflections helpful for clarity? Writing your reflections helps you organize your thoughts in a way that feels calm and clear. When everything stays inside your mind, it becomes heavy and stressful. But when you write it down, your mind slows and your emotions become easier to understand. Writing gives you space to explore your feelings, your patterns, and your goals without pressure. It also helps you see connections you might miss when you only think inside your head. Even writing a few sentences can change the way you understand your experiences. Your words become a mirror that shows you what you truly feel. Writing also becomes a track record of your growth. You can look back months later and see how much you've learned. This simple habit builds discipline, clarity, and emotional strength. How do intentional choices shape the quality of your life? Intentional choices shape your life because every decision you make becomes part of your story, and small daily decisions become habits. When you choose your actions with awareness, you create a life that feels meaningful instead of random. You stop letting circumstances control you and start building your future step by step. Intentional choices help you protect your time, your peace, and your energy. They guide you toward the relationships, routines, and opportunities that support your growth. You begin to act in ways that reflect your values instead of reacting to stress or pressure. Being intentional does not mean being perfect. It means choosing with clarity instead of confusion. These choices give your year direction, purpose, and emotional balance. Why do people feel more resilient when they reflect with purpose? People feel more resilient because reflection turns emotional chaos into emotional understanding. When you know why something hurt you, disappointed you, or stressed you, it stops controlling you. You gain emotional power. Purposeful reflection shows you that difficult experiences can teach you independence, strength, and wisdom. It helps you see that your challenges were not empty. They gave you lessons you can carry forward. This understanding builds emotional stability. It helps you trust yourself more deeply, and it reduces fear of the unknown. Resilience grows when you see yourself learning instead of failing. When you reflect with purpose, you walk into the new year with a sense of inner strength. You know you survived, you learned, and you are capable of moving forward with confidence. How can goal setting become easier and more meaningful? Goal setting becomes easier when it is connected to who you are, not who you think you should be. Many people create goals that come from pressure or comparison, and then they wonder why they lose motivation. Meaningful goals come from reflection. They come from understanding your emotions, your values, and what gave your life purpose last year. When you ask yourself what you want to stop, start, and continue, your goals become simple, realistic, and deeply personal. They focus on what brings balance, peace, and growth. Goals do not need to be dramatic. They need to be honest. When your goals are connected to your inner values, you follow them naturally. They guide your year gently and consistently. How do all these reflections help you create your best year yet? All these reflections help you create your best year because they give you emotional clarity and a sense of direction. When you understand your highs and lows, you learn what to protect and what to release. When you understand your motivations, you make decisions that feel right for your life. When you use the stop, start, continue method, you simplify your path and remove the noise. When you practice self-awareness, you grow in confidence, both personally and professionally. When you set goals from a place of clarity, every step in your year becomes intentional. The best year of your life does not happen by accident. It is built with reflection, honesty, and conscious action. And now you have the framework to create that year with purpose and hope. And if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss the next lesson. Your support means so much. It keeps this space alive and growing. With love. Thank you for being here, and I can't wait to continue this journey with you.